All right, welcome back. Yes, thank you for that lovely introduction. I was invited by Karin here to speak today from the point of view of an outsider as well, I would say. So I'm not part of the Tanzland program. I'm a freelance artist, and I also operate my own company in Heidelberg, Interactions, as was said. And I would like to speak today from the point of view of the artist and in the free scene, mainly. However, some of the things that I would like to share, I think, are effective or could be relevant also in other positions and roles. So I'm here to speak about the lovely situation we are about to face, which is the fact that we're not going to be in the luxurious situation as we're used to, and we're not going to have as much funding opportunities as we wish. We would probably agree that we feel that we didn't have even so far enough. What we're about to face is that we'll have even less. And I wish to kind of shift the perspective and question how can we see that as an opportunity? And what opportunity is laying in front of us with that in mind? I was a dancer in Israel, choreographer in Israel, and in the Netherlands, and worked in the free scene till now. And I have witnessed incredible things that have happened without money or with very, very low resources. And I believe that that's still possible. I'm not arguing that we don't need money. We still have to pay rent, and it's very clear, obviously. And we should still keep the cultural political work active in order to try and keep raising the funding and arguing for why it's relevant and respectful and that our work needs that. Nevertheless, it doesn't mean that we don't do anything if we don't have it. The question is, what can we do? So I might not be super popular here today. I'm aware of that. And I'm also okay if some of the things are kind of confronting, because sometimes when we're confronted with something that's not so easy, it helps us actually to focus on what really matters. So I'm okay with that, yeah? And in that sense, let's maybe focus on what really matters. My biggest question for you as a goal would be, how can our love of dance be something sustainable, consistent within our practice, in whatever way that might look? And the first part of my talk, I will try and ask some questions and speak more in general. In the second half of my talk, I will refer to my personal experiences through my own work as examples. The first thing is that I think we need to accept that things are changing. And what that means is that we have a tendency to really embrace habitual thinking. Yeah, the way, I think we all know the sentence, we've always been doing it this way, we always need to do it like this is what we've always been doing. Well, what would happen if that's just not possible anymore? Yeah? What do you still wish to do? And how do you wish to do it? So what it also means is that we have to change our way of thinking. We cannot continue the habitual thinking from the same perspective we've always been thinking. We have to start questioning, how would this look if it was totally different, completely? The first thing I would question for you, and I would like you to ask yourself, is, what is the most important to you? Really, the most important to you? When you talk about the love of dance, let's not question, do we love dance? We all love dance. But what is the most important to you? Maybe it's supporting dance makers and having contact with artists who are working with dance. For you personally, that's what's most important. Maybe the most important thing for you is to have contact with audience, with public. That's what matters to you. Maybe it's to have dance be seen in your venue. That is absolutely the most important thing for you. Okay, maybe it's to have dance be seen by audience, and it doesn't matter if it's in your own venue. What is really most important to you? Think for a second and try and have that in your head when we move forward to the next things. The next thing I would ask you is, once you've found what's most important to you, who is it for? Who is really this about? Is it about the audience? Is it about the artists? Is it about the theater team that you work in? Is it about you and your passion for dance? Whoever it's important, whoever this you identify that this is for, question, okay, what's most important to me? How can that directly go to that source? Yeah? I think another thing to put into focus is our capacities. When we don't have financing, we don't have possibilities, our capacities are limited. So ask yourself, what capacities do I actually have? How much time do I have to dedicate to this? How much energy, passion? And only do what you have capacities for. And just stay in that range. Define it for yourself and say, okay, I'm not going to do a million applications to try and find anything that could possibly happen. I'm going to do one application for one thing that I'm really interested in. And if it works, great. If not, not. Try not to promise things you can't. So once you understand your capacities, you can also be clear about them with whoever you're working with, artists or other partners or so on and so on, just saying, this is what I've decided for myself. This is how much capacities I'm going to put into this. And this is what we're going to offer, or what we can offer. Yeah? And you'll find that it's often respected, your capacities. A little wish is that you try to act first and question later. Yeah? Whatever might come by or might come along the way, whatever might be possible, it fits into your capacities, it serves who you're focused on, it answers to what's important to you. Just go with it. Just try it. Just say, yes, we do that. Yeah? We tend to overthink. Is this right? Is this the way? Or so on and so on. If we just try it, we'll let the trying tell us if we should do it again. Yeah? And let's see if it works. We've seen incredible ideas and formats that have been already put out there. If it worked, keep going with it. If it didn't work for you, if it didn't answer your goals, what's most important, it didn't focus on your target group, it was too much to your capacities, just don't do it anymore. Yeah? Try something else. I want to propose that you maybe shift your thinking towards not, I'm an opportunity provider, I can create a program or things like this and I can do what I want. That's okay. That's also true. But you are also are creating a platform, actually. And if you can create a platform or formulate your work more in the direction where it's a house where things are possible to happen, and I am allowing and opening for things to happen here, and then what you end up doing is you end up doing more, doing more than you thought you could do. What I mean by that is, okay, I'm thinking of a program, I have opportunities here, 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 and here, and I need to fill them in with something, so and so and so, yeah? Often we think, okay, I'm going to choose what I want, I'm going to look and da-da-da-da-da, and start communicating and so on and so on. Does it work? Does it not work? You've spent a lot of time and energy on it. Question, how could you see the opportunity that you have as a frame that could be filled in any way? In any way. And whatever can fill it, try it. Yes? And see if you like it, if it works for you, if it fulfills your goals. If it doesn't, don't do it again. If it does, keep going with it. See where it might lead. You might be surprised with what you try that it actually worked for you and you didn't expect it to. Yeah? And I would also like to suggest that the artist can think creatively, yeah? We all can think creatively. Sorry, not only the artists, all of us, we can think creatively. So ask each other, what would you want to do? So if we were to start with the wish of what people would want to do, rather than here's what I can organize, and here's what I can provide you, and you have to do it like this and like this and like this. We have this with the funding system, often in the free scene. We've spoken about that, I think, yesterday, where we are checking to see what the funding programmers want, and we are writing applications to fulfill those purposes in order to get the funding to do them. But I'm questioning what would happen if the topics that were applied for, were discussed, were coming out of what the artists really, 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 really wish to do, yeah? Because if we're doing what we really want to do, we're going to have energy to do it. We're going to be more excited to do it. And I'll speak about excitement and pleasure a bit later. But it's very, very important that you discuss, are we doing something we really want to do? Is that exciting for us? Yeah? And if not, don't do it. Just don't do it. I also want to address the possibility of breaking down barriers. Something that would help us when we don't have resources, when we don't have money, is to question, how can we make this all easier? Whatever it is you're busy with, you have to tackle, how can I make this easier for me or for whoever I'm working with? What are the strategies, what are the possibilities there that could lower the barriers in the process? I mean, for example, when you're thinking of programming, I always wonder, and maybe this is naive, and I'm totally cool with being naive, I always wonder, what if you trust that there was some sort of quality control already happening somewhere? Yeah, what if artists applied for funding, or you applied for funding, and the jury said, this we trust, we think is interesting, we go for it? What if that was the only barrier you needed? And now everybody else was on board. Yeah? And you don't have to convince another person every step of the way that they should also jump on board with it. I would like to suggest the idea that if somebody already believes in this, if somebody has already said, I think there's something here special and unique and interesting, ask more yourself, okay, how can I help it? Rather than judge it, do I think it's interesting? Because maybe it's not interesting, then don't do it again, yeah? But maybe it will be interesting. Maybe it will come out to be something very exciting, and you'll go, huh, cool. And you just made it easier for them, yeah? So, and it's easier for you as well, because you're already working with something that's already gotten some energy around it. You don't have to build it from scratch all the time, yeah? We know about the co-financing and all these, it's endless, it's exhausting. It's just exhausting, yeah? When you're meeting an artist and you like them, ask them, okay, what would you need? How could I help you? How could what you've started, how could this keep going forward? If it has gone forward, if it had already energy put into it. If it's somebody coming with you with, I have nothing but an idea, we want to try together. Okay, if you're really into it and it fulfills all your goals we spoke about earlier, it feeds me, my interests, what's most important for me, my venue, so on and so on, okay, then be the first catalyst to say, let's do something together. Otherwise, say, I can't right now, I don't have that capacities to build up something from scratch. I'm going to work with something that's already going on in some way. And I'm going to ride that wave. And now I'll talk about riding the wave. No, I'll talk first about utilizing your resources. So we spoke a lot about resources. And I think I don't need to waste too much time on this, but resources are not always money and a performance opportunity and a stage. Resources are obviously seen in many other ways. And if you ask yourself again the question, what's most important, and the answer for you was to be in contact with dance in some way or another, then maybe your resource that you can offer in your venue or wherever it is some sort of residency program, some sort of space, technique, just costumes, a fundus, something, anything, yeah? What can you offer? What are the resources there? And how can you make it easier for other people and for yourself in order to achieve that? The fact that you are helping somebody already, it means you are contributing to the bigger picture, the bigger ocean of the dance world. Therefore, you're part of of supporting, yes? And maybe that might look differently than you can even imagine, and you need to ask, here's my venue. Walk around and tell me what you can imagine, yeah? What you need. And also a resource that I would like to focus on is community. Try and question, how can I build a community around what I do related to dance and have that community be the force? So if you don't have capacities to do it, then your community does it. Pass it on to the force. We'll talk about delegation in a second. And then collaboration as well is a magical tool, and it's very effective. I recommend to do as much collaboration as possible. Now I'll speak about from perspective of my work, and I'll give an example. During the pandemic, everyone was doing yoga in the living room, so was I. I was a bit bored by it, and I found myself doing step aerobics. And I found it exciting and interesting. And so I eventually ended up going to the gyms and signing up to step aerobics classes, and it was fantastic. What I discovered there was an amazing community, very diverse community of people who do step aerobics, and they're fanatics at it. And they're also really amazing at it. I befriended them, I invited them into my studio, and we started doing step aerobics with the contemporary approach, whatever that meant. Played around. Eventually, what happened is I made a piece with professional dancers, actors, and so on and so on. We performed in the theater, but the step aerobics community were with us along the way in the creation. And they participated in our work, and they also performed on stage eventually, which was a result through the process of creation. What happened was the theater was full. The audience was full with an enormous community from the fitness industry. We also partnered up with the gyms themselves. It's called Fitzenmeier. They're a very big empire. They're also here in Neustadt. And we partnered up with them. We said, hey, we're making a piece about step aerobics, dance performance. Will you support us in any way? They gave us materials. They gave us a spinning bike. They gave us 20 step boards. They gave us studio space for 3 months in their own gyms. We created the piece in their own gyms. They did all of the publicity for it on their own mediums. They had Gewinnspiele tickets for all of their members. And we did very, very, very little publicity, and the theater was full. Yeah? Just an example of what partnership can actually really do. And partnership on a local level with where people are at. Another example, which is a plan for next year, hopefully, working on it. But the next project I want to do is we're going to collaborate with nightclubs, where dance is, yes? And we're going to work with the nightclub, and I'm going to make a piece about nostalgia inside a 90s party. So it's a party with 90s music. Generations are there from young to old, all together. And inside the party, there's going to be a contemporary dance performance with 90s music about nostalgia. What we're communicating is a 90s party. and we're hiding into it contemporary dance performance. Yeah? And we're collaborating with a nightclub that is going to do a line of this party in the theater. So now the audience of the nightclub is going to party in a theater. That's the strategy. Yeah? So I heard a lot about how do I fill seats in my theater. You can fill seats in your theater. You just have to question where the people are, communities are already gathered in a large amount, and how does dance fit into their context? And organize work that feeds that interest. Maybe it's salsa, tango, whatever. And this is the most important. My advice is don't do it if it's not fun. Really question, am I enjoying this? Am I enjoying the topic? Am I enjoying the people I'm working with? Is it exciting for me? Because the joy, the pleasure of it will feed you the energy to keep going. Yeah? And ask yourself, what is fun about it? And if it's not fun, how could it be more fun? How can I make this more pleasurable? Because that's going to be the key to continue, especially when you have no resources, you're going to want to do it. It's going to be more exciting. And just a method that was worked for me to finish up is the Eisenhower method of decision making. Maybe some of you know it. It's very simple. I ask myself, first, what do I need to do? That's a must. For whatever reason, okay, I make a list, I put it there that I need to do. No moving it around. What can we delegate? Meaning, what can we pass on to somebody else? What can we postpone? We can do this later. And what do I skip? What do I leave out? What do I say, I'm not doing that? Yeah? And be very clear about that. And I want to just, for the last second, focus on delegation. It's wonderful to let other people do the work for you. Really. And find the person that enjoys, is excited, has fun with doing that thing, and give it to them to do. Don't try and do everything yourself. It's just, you're not going to make it. It's not going to manage. That's my little input for today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.